high-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk, and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading, and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary, and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to, any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Hi traders, welcome to our monthly session live. Today we're going live today on Zoom as well as on our YouTube service. It's Stu Noppon here, founder of Master the Markets Illitrades Conference and Traders Open Day. And I'm joined by my really good friend and trader, CEO of Trade Guider, Gavin Holmes as well. Hi Gavin.
Yeah, cheerio, hi, and welcome to you all. Got a very interesting subject to talk about today. Yes, we've got charts. Yes, we've got trades. But we're going to talk about something that's very close to my heart, and in my third book, and also in my first book. We're going to talk about the law of attraction and the belief systems that make successful traders successful, but also what makes losing traders lose. And I've met thousands of traders, as has Tiru. So we know what makes people successful, and we want to share that with you today as we move forward with lots of stuff that's going on. We're both going to be trading live at the Active Trades event, and it's the London Trader Show. We'll talk about that. We're going to be there together. We encourage you to come and visit. Many of you already have said, some of you flying in from Bulgaria, Paris, Germany. I can't wait to meet you. Going to be a great session. Back over to you, Tiru, and when you're ready, I'll talk about, we've got charts, but today's session is called the law of attraction, and it's something that's very close to both Tiru and my heart, and it's something that's now being really forecast to be the big player as human beings understand their belief systems. Tiru, we can get to the charts, but let's talk a little bit about how we met and why we believe this is such an important part of a trader's success and journey, whether they're an investor or a trader. You know, you and I are both, I'd say, fairly spiritual. We're not necessarily religious, but we both believe that there is something out there that helps us if we understand it. And I'm going to show you a PowerPoint slide, everyone, where I can show you some stuff that helped me and some books that certainly guided me. And when I came up with the company name years ago, it was called Trade Guider. Guider is the word. And Tiru came up with the name Master the Markets. Now, I don't know where he got it from. It probably wasn't from Tom's book, which I've said before. Yep. But Tiru, talk us through your process, because you come from a medical background. We've already talked. I come from law enforcement. We've talked at length over dinner, and many dinners actually, about this whole process of belief. Why is it so important that we're actually one of the few individuals actually out there in the trading world that's prepared to talk about this?
You know, I think most of the people here are quite intellectual and apt, and you will understand the real importance and purpose of today's topic on belief system psychology and the law of attraction. In fact, on the surface, yes, it looks like, you know, we are all traders and medical professionals, but you know, if you go dig deeper, even with the top entrepreneurs and billionaires in the world, when I studied them, they all got some kind of spiritual background in them, because you see, traders, without that spiritual belief and psychology, you won't get that stamina to keep going past any obstacles and maintain your consistency and not give up. You need that willpower. And where does that willpower come from? And that's where you start to study your entire psyche and your being, what you're made up of. The same thing happened for me. It didn't happen immediately, traders, but life just pushed me into exploring that and thinking into it. So what really happened in my case, Gavin, is that so I was a pharmacology researcher. So I did my degree in Scotland, Glasgow University, pharmacology, and then I came into London to do my PhD. And that's where, when I was doing my PhD on cardiovascular pharmacology on the heart, so we were doing in vivo experiments over there. And that's when, you know, for 9-10 months, we were researching this new project in the lab, and we just couldn't get the constant to work. And then my head of the team then called me up one day and said, Tiru, you know, we're running out of funding a bit, so why can't we just change the project? Because you're not seeming to get some results on this. I'm not sure what that is. Is it the apertures or the techniques or what it is? We're not able to put a point on it. Why don't we change the project? So then what happened, traders, is that I gave it a go, the new project, but it was so boring, right? I was like, just give me a gun. I just want to shoot myself. I can't do this for the next 3 years. So then what happened is I came back to the my supervisor again, and I said, you know, can you give me back my old project, because I'm finding this too boring. And she said, oh, I thought we already thought about this, you know, maybe why don't you take some time out, think about it. It was a Friday evening, I remember. And then she said, come back on Monday, and then let's have a talk on it back again. So you see, over the weekend, now here's the important point, and that's where it all started for me on this journey, right? On this whole psychology and all that, and willpower and how we are made up of and everything. So what happened is over the weekend, but during that time, what happened is also, traders, I came across self-development books at that time. So one of my friends gave me this thing called Personal Power. I think some of you would have heard it. If you've heard it, type into the chat box, or if you're on YouTube as well, you can just type it in onto the chat box there, listening in live. If you've read and listened to Tony Robbins' Personal Power. So I started reading that, and it really made me started thinking about everything and what I wanted to really do in my life, my passion, my purpose, and all of that. I also started looking at one of the videos by Steve Jobs, right? And you guys can take note of this as well. Definitely watch this video. It's called Steve Jobs Commencement Speech, Steve Jobs Stanford University Commencement Speech, 2005. Okay, it's 15 minutes long. I highly recommend every one of you to watch it if you haven't yet, okay? And in that video, he talks about a little bit about his spiritual journey, not really much, but then in the end, he concludes saying, you know, follow your passion, you know, stay foolish, stay hungry. So all these things were ringing in my mind, right? So all about passion, you know, how do I find it? If this is not my passion, should I really like waste my time being in it? So that's what finally made me make the decision on that Monday morning when I went back into the lab, and I told the guys, you know, there was the dean, and there was about 8-9 guys, you know, senior management, and I was there, a young kid, and you can see how daunting it was. But you know, I had a strong belief that if you don't like what you're doing, because I was watching all these videos by Steve Jobs, Tony Robbins, and I went for some talks as well on self-development. So I told them, you know, if you can't give me back my old project, I just got to sign the papers and I got to walk out. And to cut the story short, they just said they can't. And I said, bye. So, and that was it. I walked out of the doors. But here's the main point. I didn't have any backup at that point. Okay. I didn't have any backup. And to make things worse, it was a recession as well, 2008. And I wanted to get into finance. And my supervisor was nice. My senior supervisor, she called me back into the room and she said, Tiru, what are you going to do now? Let me see if I can help you into whatever industry you want to get into. And I told her, you know what? I want to find out how money can work for you. How does money work? Because then I can really, you know, get into the whole finance investment world, make money work for me and free my time, because I was looking into that. How do you free your time to pursue what you really love to do? And she then said, oh, Tiru, I'm really sorry, I can't help you in that, because I don't know anybody in that industry. And she must be thinking in her mind, oh, look at this young kid. I mean, it's a recession. And he's saying that he wants to get into finance. I mean, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. But, you know, traders, here's the point. And here's in connection with what we're going to talk about today, which is, but I had a strong belief that when one door closes, another door opens. And when you truly believe in your search and are sincere for it, it will be attracted to you. And that is how actually my journey then began. Then I found myself on this workshop called Make It Happen. It was a spiritual based modern day goal setting kind of workshop. And that is where exactly I crystallized my vision. And that is where also I got my whole willpower and stamina to then come on to the whole trading investment world. I came onto to the trading floor. That I worked in a private trading floor. Then I came out of it. Then we set up Master the Markets, and we've been here since for 15 years now, counting, and upwards. Now that is what really gave me the whole stamina. We'll talk more about it, and then we'll go on to the principles of this entire thing, how it really works, which will give you the whole idea. But in a nutshell, the whole trading game, how I got into it was that based on the basis that once I got my vision crystallized, I knew that to free your time, you need to learn how to make money work for you. And I also understood that in trading, a large part of it is the mastering of the psychology and the mind. That's what really attracted me. Once you master your mind, the psychology side of it, then you execute your plan flawlessly by letting go of the end outcome of the results, because you know that your law of numbers will start to work, which is so very similar to spiritual principles. Then the whole cash flow, the whole trading starts, and the strategy starts to materialize itself out. So that's the whole basis on how I got into trading. First was on the beauty that, it was the ground for me to master my mind and psychology, and then get the results out of the strategy as per se. That is in a nutshell how I got into this whole world of trading and this whole realm of psychology and law of attraction and everything, Gavin.
So it's interesting. You talk about open doors. Well, my career in trading started when I was a police officer. When I opened the back door of a police van, it accelerated and I fell out and broke my legs. And it wasn't a choice, but I don't regret any of it. I will now show you. Can I take the screen? And I'm just going to...
Yeah, definitely. Let me stop the share here.
That's fine. I'm just going to share my screen with you. So just bear with me. And we'll just start the slideshow. All right. So you can all see my screen, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
okay.
I can see that. For those of you asking as well, we'll go on to the charts shortly, but just stay on.
Oh, yeah, we're going to... This is very much... This started with my first book. And the reason I'm talking about it today, and it's a very tough day for me. I lost one of my best friends on Friday. He's my age. He was 57, and he passed away. But we used to talk about this subject at great length when we were doing barbecues and stuff. And when you lose someone so close to you, and someone that you knew, and you just don't, and he's got a family like mine, and they're all the same sort of age. My daughter's 15, my son's 14. It really starts to make you question, what is law of attraction? What does it mean? How did it help us? How can it improve us? But how, when we get challenged, which we do as traders and investors, what can we do? And Turu and I became very good friends, basically because of the law of attraction. I've told the story already. We met at a trade show years ago, and we come from different backgrounds. Turu's from the medical background, I'm from law enforcement, but we both love and are passionate about trading now, because we've both learned that you can make it in the market. But making it in the market is not about just chart reading. It's all right putting up a chart and going, oh, there's a bar and there's a green signal, there's a red signal. There's much more to trading. Oh, and I know this. And it's to do with your belief system, which is what I've written about in chapter 9 of my book, which I'm going to give you all. Now, I wrote that in 2010. I actually wrote it. I was taught to trade by the late Tom Williams, who passed in 2016. And we talked about this. And we talked a lot about the law of attraction. But what is it? It's a law, right? It works, but you've got to harness it. You've got to understand it. And what I want to do today with Tiru, we both want this, is to improve both your belief system and, of course, your financial well-being. Now, we're going to talk about the law of attraction. I'm going to talk in this brief part of the session before we get to the charts. Are we going to look at charts? 100%, because we've got great trades running right now. Okay, so we know that this week is going to be incredibly good for trading, and next week as well. What's a self-limiting belief? Right, that's an interesting one. Why do so many retail traders, they say in the UK, they actually have to publish it by law? The FSA says that brokerage firms have to show how many of their customers lose money. Would you believe it's 80 to 90%? And it varies from broker to broker, but that means that 10% are making it. What are they doing? What is a belief? Now, I'm not going to use the email that Rakesh Kumar sent me today, because I'm going to use that and it's a brilliant email, one of the best I've ever had, and it actually changed me. Okay, and when we talk about law of attraction, Trade Guider, and we talk about, you know, trading the markets, we talk about Tiru and myself, there is a percentage who win, and we're going to talk about that today. So we're going to start off with your mind is like a parachute. Okay, it definitely is. No argument. Let me just go back. A parachute is no good when it's like that. Okay, it's not going to help you. A parachute is a very important thing when it's open. So a parachute is like your mind. When you open it, it's very useful to you. It saves your life. And I have to say, I'm terrified of heights, so I've never been on a parachute before. But I know that that's a great observation made by many, many clever people, that your mind is like a parachute. Open it. So I ask you, just listen to the information, listen to the books that are going to recommend to you, and learn what we know. Now, I'll just ask a question, and you can type this into the chat area. I just want to get this, and this is all on YouTube as well. So how many of you are listening today have heard of what we call the universal law of attraction? How many of you have actually heard of this law, which is like the law of gravity, I suppose, but it is definitely becoming more and more mainstream. And I know that because I'm being asked to speak at several places around the world where my book has created interest. Now, when Tiru and I first sat down for dinner one evening after
actually quite a few people are raising up their hands, actually.
Yeah,
they've heard about it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But Tiru, when we sat down at the table, well, I remember the first meal we had together, right? And I remember it because we were talking about Tony Robbins, because I obviously have been through the same courses you have, and we started to talk about the law of supply and demand and cause and effect and effort versus result. And then I realized that Tom and I would talk about this all the time. But this is such an important point in getting everyone on the same path. Is the law of attraction means that you attract to yourself what you put out there, right? So if you think negatively, you get negative results. In trading, it's absolutely exactly what happens. If you think positively, even if you're going through a negative time, you will turn it into positives, but you've got to believe it. Right, Tiru?
Absolutely, spot on. I think without the belief, nothing actually can happen, isn't it? It just can't. You won't be able to attract it.
Well, the thing is about the law of attraction, it's funny because I've spent last night going through some of my old notes, and you're going to see now some of the things I wrote 20 years ago. And it's very difficult sometimes when you're going through a tough time. And I must admit, this last few days for me has been incredibly tough for various reasons. But losing a friend and losing someone close to you, or losing anyone, in fact, you start to you replay it in your mind. You know, look at the great times we had. Look at the, you know, we went camping, we did this, and then you start to look at. I'm trying to teach this to my children, and it's quite interesting because if we ask the question to the audience here, can you give me examples of universal laws? Now, there are laws, everything's law, that are generally accepted by human beings, like all of us. What do we accept now in 2024 as universal law? Now, some of you will come up with, okay, I know law of supply and demand. Well, that's it. The word law makes it sound, I'll be honest, as an ex-policeman, the word law makes it sound it is always this. But actually, in instances of things that happen, there are two things that can happen. There are the absolute laws that have to be, and then there are things that are strange, which you go, I don't understand that. Why did that volcano erupt? Why did that river overflow and flood all these homes? Well, we'll talk about that. But it's in trading, which was what we're talking about today. I and Tiru and myself want to teach you about a mindset and what we've learned. So what we know is we've got laws that are generally accepted, right? People, the law of gravity, right? If you say you try and get a scientist to explain gravity, right? Well, you know, if you look at Isaac Newton, you look at some of the greatest brains, scientific brains. We know that if you drop an apple and you drop a thing off the tree, it's all there. It's gravity. We wouldn't be here without gravity. And if there was a film actually on Discovery Plus the other day about gravity, and they said if you changed where the moon was and the moon, you might think that's stupid, but it's not, right? Because if the moon was to move out of orbit, everything would change, because the moon, we're all made of water, right? 90%, I don't know if you knew this, of our bodies are water, 30% of the brain is water. I think that's the correct number, but I may be wrong. I'm sure Tiru, the medical expert, could correct me if I'm wrong. But we're water. So when the moon is there, it affects things. Now, is that clever? Well, we know about the law of gravity, but we also know in trading, we've got supply and demand, effort versus result, cause and effect. We can see it right now, as I'm about to show you. And Tiru will show you. Now, while we're doing this webinar, and it's not about loads of charts, it is going to be about charts, because ultimately we need to, as human beings, we need tools, right? We need things. And as we've evolved, we've created those tools. They're here for us right now. The fact that you're listening to this in India, China, in fact, and I can see where you're all coming from. That's what we've created. But I was looking at a program again. I have to say, if I do watch TV, I don't watch the news. I tend to watch the Discovery Channel, Discovery Plus, stuff that's interesting. And they showed yesterday, which I found fascinating, how they created things like arrowheads, and they carved them by hand, and they made them out of steel or iron. And it was fascinating. So what we're doing here is we're looking at laws, but there is a law. Yeah, there it is. Which I hate to say, it's an Irish expression. It's called sod's law. It means that you've done everything right. You've ticked all the boxes. You've said that's going to be fine. I'm absolutely happy, and it all goes wrong. It's happened to me many times, actually. And in Ireland, they call it sod's law. But regardless of that, it means it's a lesson. It's not a defeat. Okay. And when we start, and Tiru and I get into the charting stuff, you'll understand why that is important. So what is the law of attraction? Why are Tiru and I talking about this? Well, This is from Wikipedia, so it's not me. This is what they say. The law of attraction, used widely by New Thought writers, I don't know what they are, but there we go, maybe I'm one of them, refers to the idea that thoughts influence chance. Think about that statement. The law of attraction argues, I don't think it argues with anything, but it argues that thoughts, both conscious and unconscious, can affect things outside the head, not just through motivation, but by other means. The law of attraction says that which is like unto itself, it is drawn. Think about that. You're listening to this seminar for a reason, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on, the live stream that we're doing. It doesn't matter. It could be a recording. You're drawn to it. That's the information that Tiru and I got drawn to. And we'll explain that. The law of attraction became widely popular after the release of The Secret, which was a 2006 film by Australian television writer and producer Rhonda Byrne. A great book. That really helped me, actually. Now, I'm going to just go back to this, if I may. If you look at the bottom of the screen there, you're going to see a statement, and it's very interesting. The claims of the law of attraction are unsupported by scientific evidence. That is an incorrect statement. Because I'm using an old slide. Now it is scientifically proven. And I'll show you in my chapter 9 of the book. I'm going to give you the chapter 9. You'll see it. The law is not an illusion anymore. Okay, it's most definitely not. It's starting to be realised. Now, does it relate? Well, Wallace Wattles got this right in 1802, I think it was. He said, the scientific use of thought consists in forming a clear and distinct mental image of what you want. It's holding fast to the purpose to get what you want. So you're focusing. And in realising with grateful faith, there's a good one, that what you do get is what you want. Now, Tiru, you and I have sat there, we've looked at charts. We don't always make successful trades, but mostly we do. And we just did the London IX Trader show. We're doing another trading show shortly. How important in your mind is the belief system that you've got the knowledge and the power to make it in the market?
I think it is everything, isn't it? I think we've spoken about this before. If you don't believe in something, how can you keep going past all the obstacles and challenges? It's just not possible, is it? How can you have the stamina? How can you maintain the consistency and not give up? You must have some belief in something. This is why in one of our psychology and trading videos we've talked about, and which is what my spiritual mentors also talked about as well. In fact, a lot of modern day psychology and self-development workshops talk about and videos talk about, always have a higher purpose for what you're working for, right? Without that higher purpose, right, in that belief towards what you're going towards, you see, is what it's saying here, and holding fast to the purpose to get what you want, which is what Gavin is showing over here. If you don't have that higher purpose or the higher ideal towards what you're working towards, how can you ever get the willpower and the consistency to keep going and not give up? I know some of you, if you think very simply and you say, oh yeah, my higher purpose is to make more money. But, but if you go deeper into it, money itself, by itself, can't give you happiness, can it? Only when you spend on something, right, or someone, then only it gives you that happiness and achievement, isn't it? Just by it, just being there cannot give you happiness. Usually we'll use that money to go on holidays or to spend on your kids' education or to give them a better lifestyle, a better house, whatever it may be. That's when it really gives you that happiness and that achievement. So that is why it is good to really reflect on this deeper, to get that belief and that love towards your higher ideal and that purpose. Okay, so that's what I would say. Definitely the belief is very important, but belief in that higher ideal and purpose that you're working towards. That's how I see it, Gavin. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my wife Laura's just nodding her head here saying, I don't agree with Tiru. I like it when Gavin makes money because I can spend it.
But again, she's proven the point, right? She's proven the point. You need to spend on something to get happy, isn't it?
She's very happy. Yeah, right now at the moment, yeah, we're doing it right. Yeah, you got a point. But let's get back to the purpose of today's webinar, and it is purposeful. I can assure you, because what Tira and I want you to take out of this is knowledge, a process, and then when we get to the charts, which we're going to, and you're going to see what we're doing. You're going to understand the logic, and we're broadcasting now in front of thousands of people all over the internet, everywhere. It's a very popular subject line, and I thought it would be, but it has to make sense to the individual listening. Now, as I said, I lost a good friend last week, and it made me think about life in general. Is it, and to what Tira just said, is it about making the money, spending the money? Is it about money? Well, actually, if you lose your health, it's not about money at all. Steve Jobs died at 59. And if you listen to his last words, which I quote in my book, you'll understand the importance of the life we've got. There's many, many things about trading, and one of them that's very important is timing. And I'm going to talk about this because when we wake up in the morning, we go to sleep at night, we think that we've got 24 hours in a day. That's not true. There's no such thing as time. It's an illusion. It doesn't exist. Okay? Fact. Because the universe has been around and the planet has been around for, what, 5 billion years? So time is what we perceive it to be. And whether you're 57, 51, 21, 18, 16, it doesn't make any difference. That's just what you perceive to be your birthday. Oh, I'm now another year older. In trading, though, as I'm about to show you, it's very relevant. Time is very relevant. And we don't always understand it. So when we talk about the law of attraction, one of the books that I first read, which I'm going to recommend you some books, by the way, that will definitely help you. I guarantee. If you're a book reader, I'm not, but I've had to read books, and now I've got audio.com or whatever it's called, where you can listen to the books. But with Wallace Wattles, who wrote what inspired Rhonda Byrne, a consistent theme with Wallace Wattles is his insistence on using our brains and our thoughts to bring about changes on our own lives, right? We control it. In many ways, his ideas were revolutionary at the time he wrote it, back in 1800. At the same time, you can find similar sentiments back thousands of years. You know, the Bible, the Quran, the teachings of Buddha, whatever you want to look at, it's the same story, but just told in a different way with a different language. Everything works under the same laws, he said, yesterday, today, and forever. Wattles is adamant that we create our own lives. And that does not happen if we sit on our backsides waiting for the golden fruit to fall in our laps. Well, it's true. Same with trading. And that is why I wrote my book. Now, I'm going to tell you a very personal story. And then Tira and I can go and look at some of the charts. But this is very personal. And the reason I share it is because I know it worked. And I was very fortunate to have been with Tom Williams, the guy that taught me to trade, for a few years before this. And we would sit in his garden in Worthing, in the south of England. And he would say some weird things. I thought, well, that's a bit strange. He said, well, look at that tree, that oak tree, big oak tree in his garden. And he'd say, well, look, it knows when to shed its leaves. It knows when to drop its acorns. It knows when to grow a bit higher, but it's got no brain. I was looking at him and said, well, okay, how's that going to help me in my trading? And this is the point he made. He said, you've got a brain and you can actually use that brain as a conscious effort to understand the environment you're in. Now, if you're looking at a chart, and he would say this many times to customers, he'd say, if I had my way, you wouldn't look at the news, you wouldn't switch on the TV, you wouldn't be looking at the internet, you wouldn't be on your iPhone well, it wasn't the iPhone at the time, but whatever it was, you would look at the chart and he would say, and this word, I will say this, these words completely ingrained in me. The chart doesn't lie. So I said, what do you mean it doesn't lie? He said, no, it doesn't lie. But this proved it to me. What happened to me? And I'll prove it to you. In 2007, I had a very powerful thought, that's the word, that at some point in the future, I'd be trading live in front of a large audience and I would make a winning trade and explain all the VSA principles at work. And this would result in several new customers joining TradeGold, several thousand. As time went on, I began to play out in my mind's eye exactly what I'd be wearing, what the trade would look like, and what would happen as I executed the trade. And then I got the call. You were invited to speak at the Traders Expo. Now, I can show you that. I will come to that, but that doesn't really make any difference because I'm going to give you the chapter of the book at the end, so you can go and read it. I don't need to do it now. What I do want to do, and Turu and I want to do before we get on to the charts, which we'll do really quickly, is we know that, you know, we're going to be at the London Traders Show together on the Active Trade stand, right? We're going to be there. Come and meet us. Seriously, come and meet us. It's at Hammersmith.
So that's next Friday, isn't it? 8th of March. That's right.
Yeah, it's the 8th of March. Yeah, so it's I think it's 2 weeks' time. Yeah, so yeah, it's not next Friday, the Friday after, I think. Although I may be wrong, but check the dates. But it is.
It's the 8th of March. Check your emails as well, traders. I think we will have sent
it's not this Friday coming. It's the following Friday, correct? And it's at Hammersmith. So
I think, Glenn, you can post the details on the chat box if you can. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Please do that because I'll give them details, everyone, because we've got a lot of people who already said they're coming. But I want to get through this really quickly because Turu and I want to get to charts. Why do people lose money in the markets? And Turu and I do this together, right? So a self-limiting belief. This is what Tony Robbins would talk about. I did the same course that Turu did. With Anthony Robbins, very powerful. When you're looking at something, you have certain words, and these words are what we call negative. They're negative connotations because you're telling your brain, I cannot make money in the market. No. I will not make money in the markets, and we're referring to trading. It does not. I'm not sure. I doubt. Maybe. I don't know. It's impossible. I'm afraid. Think of those words. They're powerful. Words are powerful. Now, in trading, I got up on stage and I still do it. And if I see any of those in my mind, I don't want to trade. Turu, what's your take on that?
You're right. I mean, if any of these things are there, isn't it, Gavin, which is what you're saying? I doubt it, maybe, not sure. I mean, how can you overcome that and then place that trade? It's just not possible. Later on, as I would look through some of the live trades that we are placing on the 100K Tradiac challenge, I will go through the exact belief system that's going on and how we overcome it as well to maintain that consistent execution.
Yeah, and we'll show that. We'll actually show you, because I'm also in the challenge as well. But let me get my point across. These words, when I left the police force, caused me post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Right, it's very serious. Okay, and it makes you, to some extent, suicidal. Now, I'm just being straight with you. That's because all of the things that I woke up with were negative. And it's stupid now I look back on it because I've got a family, I've got a lovely property, I'm doing well, but the brain is very powerful. So what do we want to do? We've got to move forward. And how do we do that? Well, I read books, I got help. I'm very lucky. But suddenly I realized that in trading, it's exactly the same thing. I've met people who are suicidal. I'll be honest. Some of them come up to me at shows and said, I'm desperate. Now, this is the reason for this webinar today. It's the right time, the right place, and the right moment for me anyway. And I'm sure it is for Tiru. You've got to be positive. Now, how I do it, and this is very important what I'm about to tell you, it's the most important thing I can tell you because it saved my life, is you've got to start with, I can, I will, I'm a winner, it's possible, yes, I'm sure, definitely. Those are little words. But those are words that you don't want to go to, you don't want to wake up with, you want to go to bed with them. Now, here's a lesson. If you want to understand the power of manifestation, which is pretty much what this planet is about, go and look at Dr. Wayne Dyer, W-A-Y-N-E, Wayne Dyer, D-Y-E-R, right? Wayne Dyer. And he says, you can Google this, it's 5 minutes before you go to bed, right? Now, I didn't think that was at all important. I said, well, yeah, if I go to bed, I'm going to sleep, right? But what you need to learn as a trader and an investor is the 5 minutes before you go off to sleep is when you're programming your subconscious mind.
It is so important. And Wayne Dyer is really good. I really enjoy Wayne Dyer. Just to have a poll, how many of you guys have heard of Wayne Dyer or listened to his audios? If you can type in the chat box and on YouTube, that'd be great. Sorry, Gavin. Yeah, carry on. I really like Wayne Dyer. It's awesome. It's very good.
You know, the idea of this webinar is not to just talk about charts, is to give information, right? And to talk about some of the greatest people in the world who've helped many others.
So true.
And it's not about Gavin and Tiru. This is not about us. You know, hopefully, you know, we last another 50 years each. Well, I don't know. I'll probably last another 5, but whatever. But the bottom line is, someone will look at this information and say, yeah, you go to bed at night. It's so important as a trader, right? You go to bed with positive attitude. You go to bed with gratitude. Now, we haven't even talked about gratitude really, but it's very important. You go to bed with, okay, I've seen the markets today. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. No one's going to know, but you've got that attitude. And then the key to it is you wake up in the morning. And when you wake up, you start in that slumber, don't you? You go, oh, I'm half asleep. I don't even know what half asleep means. But here's the key. Once you're awake and you're ready to get up, put your 2 feet on the ground. Hopefully you've got a ground. And you say, look up, it's going to be a great day. Like it is today for me. It's going to be a great day. It's been a great day. So you do this. And then what happens is you get results. Now, I'm going to be a bit negative very quickly, and then we're going to go to Tiru and I for the charts. Why do people lose money? They don't have a trading plan. Okay, Gavin and Tiru, how do we get a plan and follow it? We'll show you. Okay. We do believe, and Tiru, I'll come back to you on this. Why is a trading plan such an important part of making it in these markets?
I mean, without the trading plan, I mean, it's like saying, you know, someone used to say this thing, it's like, without a map and without the destination coordinates of where you're going to, if you drive a car, what does that describe of you? You're basically lost, right, Gavin? Is it not? So
Correct.
it's the same thing. I mean, when you do not have a trading plan, it's basically you're lost. You're not taking this seriously. And people do go through different stages. And it's when the mind starts to kick in and starts to say, you know what? No, something is not right here. I'm not taking this seriously. Let's write it down. And that's where everything starts to change.
Yeah. It's very important. And I'm not going to dwell on it, but Tiru and I can help you with that because we've got our trading plan, right? We know exactly what it is. Right. The second thing, why do losing traders consistently lose money? Well, they do different things on different days. They're totally inconsistent. I've seen it so many times. And the inconsistency comes in doubt because they've got no plan, many of them. And now they're not following a plan and they result in losses. We don't want you to suffer from that. Okay, and we'll show you charts, we'll show you trades, we'll show you results. All of these things may not convince you that what we're teaching you is correct. You have to make up your own mind. They've got no belief that this is something that, you know, we're presenting in front of a lot of people here around the world. If you don't detect that I believe in the strategy and Tiru believes in his strategy that we combine, well, then we can't convince you. So go and find someone else, because we can't show you. Our systems work. Belief in what you can do is key to your financial reward. It always is. Computers do not think, they compute. They compute the inputted information and need no financial reward at all. A computer doesn't need pain. Your brain is the very powerful tool, and if used correctly, it will produce outstanding results. And that is true. You know, we are the most powerful computers in the world. Losing traders think and act like gamblers. Well, I don't want to go into that, because I just spoke to someone yesterday, a gambler. He's got no chance of making money. I've said here, a card counter goes to Vegas. He knows he's putting his odds in or her odds in their favor. They're saying that I'm a card counter, which is why they're banned if they're discovered. They don't want them in there. The casino has to make money. So does the market. Don't be silly. You're up against some very smart people. Okay, and you know, if you walk into a casino and you want to throw your money on the table, have fun with that. You're probably going to lose, right? 99% of the time. If you go to the market without knowledge and without the power that you control, which you do, you will lose money. We can help with that. And as a retail trader, you can put the odds in your favor if you study for a few hours. It doesn't take much. Are you prepared to study and make money in the markets? It's entirely up to you. Losing traders are always searching for the holy grail of trading, but it doesn't exist. And this is true. I'd like to say Tiru and I have got the holy grail, right? We've worked together. We're great friends. We've got the holy grail. We're not BSing you. We're not doing that, because we know that is a false, and it's what's going on all over the internet right now. It's not fair to the individual listening. And Tiru and I talked about this earlier this morning, before this presentation. And Tiru said, well, I like to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and know I'm trying to help people and tell the truth. I'm exactly the same. That you don't know if you're going to help everyone. You can't prove it. But you can't tell people that if you buy our product, you're going to be a millionaire next week. But there's many people that do it. We won't. But what we can promise you, 100%, is we'll tell you how the charts work, as we'll show you in a minute. We'll tell you why it's very, very important to understand supply and demand, price action, volume, all of those things. We'll tell you why we've learned the law of attraction and how it works, which is what we're sharing here. And you can see what I've said here, you know, how many times, we've seen this all on the internet. I don't need to read it. The bottom line is they're searching for the Holy Grail, but they use too many systems, losing traders do, too many indicators, so they never know what the chart is really telling them. The chart never lies if you know how to read it correctly. Now I've put this in red because it's a warning sign. If you can read the chart correctly and you can avoid all of the stuff that's out there that's not helping you, and you can look at your account and say, oh, do you know something? Last year I made 100 grand, or last year I lost 100 grand. Well, we can change that, but we do it simply. We do not complicate things. They're undercapitalized. That's correct. Yeah. They take large trades, poor risk reward, no money management skills at all. Winning traders are traders with discipline, belief, lack of fear, and knowledge of how the markets work. They also know they can never be 100% right, although Tom Williams said he was, and they can get out of losing positions quickly and see it all as a small business loss, not a financial disaster. How do you treat your losses? And then finally, they don't understand how markets work. Simple as that. Price moves markets, but actually it's the smart money that moves the market. Price doesn't do anything. It's just what is, going up and down. And we'll show some of the trades that Tira and I are looking at right now. The forces of supply and demand and the trading of the smart money causes price to move. Okay. So it's supply and demand, smart money. You've got to pick that up. If you don't pick that up and you want to go and do some MACD, candlestick, whatever, have fun with that. And we had a great guy called Tim Raymond who studied Tom Williams, and there's an article that I can give you showing how he won twice the World Cup Trading Championship in FX. And you can just email tradeguider@outlook.com and we can send you that. But finally, before I go to Tiru, I just want to end on this final note, and then we'll go to the charts. And this is quite important actually, because what goes on here, and I'll just put the screen on. And there's two things I'm going to give you. The first one is going to be a link to, and perhaps, Karen, can you put that in the chat area? It's a link to the Master the Markets book that Tom wrote. Okay, and that's the link right there, and you can probably just cut and paste it. But I want to finish off on this, and you're all going to get this as well. And I mean, again, Karen, if you can post that. This is how to use belief and the universal law of attraction to trade and invest, and it's what we're talking about today before Tira and I get to the charts. But the most important part of this, I mean, it's all here. It's all the science is here. All the facts are here, right? So that I'm not going to spend time reading it because we'd spend too much time. But I want to show you what actually happened. And that's what happened. Okay, that's me at the New York Traders Expo. Okay, trading live in front of thousands of people. Okay, and I made money. I made a successful trade based on what I call a test in a rising market. Please read this. Okay, I mean, I don't know if you can cut and paste that. But what happened to me?
Even if you put it on Skype, I think later on, Gavin, I think they can put it on here. No problems.
Okay, so I'll put, we can
do it later, no problems.
Yeah, it's fine. But that happened. Okay. Now, let's go to some charts. Terry, let's go and have a look at gold. And you can take the screen. Yeah, because now we're going to get to the chart.
Let me just share the screen now.
Yep.
In fact, I'll show you guys some live trades that is running at the moment as well.
Yeah. We've got more people logging in and we've not lost anyone. So clearly, hopefully you're enjoying this and hopefully you're getting some benefit from it. But look at what we're doing. Yeah.
I think you guys can see this, right? Straight at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a couple of things that I want to show you guys. I mean, on this Tradiac account, this Traders Challenge by Tradiac, we took on this thing on this 100K, and we also got another account on 50K as well. We're running two different strategies on them. On this 100K, we're doing what we call the 20% OE strategy based on price and volume. So the SMI and the VSA. And also the similar thing here on the 50K, we're doing what we call the 50% OE strategy. Okay, some of you are already following us, you will understand these terminologies. Those of you who are not, don't worry. We'll be putting out the video series for you to understand, which is 7 steps to CTP. Glenn will just send you all a reminder. Those of you already registered in here, already you will get the videos just to understand these terminologies. But stick with me on this. Don't worry too much about terminologies. You can catch up on them later. And for those of you watching it on YouTube, you can go to 7stepstoctp.com. The boys will put the link on there. And then also read alongside with the videos, Gavin's book as well on Master the Markets, which will send you the link for. Now, follow me on this. So here on this trade, we're just a little bit under 1,008. Yesterday it was up about 2,100. It's dropped a little bit to here. This is unrealized profit, what we call at the moment. Not only do we show the profits, also everything, all the wins and losses. We started this in February, started placing the trades. 2 wins on Brent oil, a little bit of a loss on silver. Now we are running these trades on Euro Yen and Dollar Yen, and similar strategy on the 50K account as well. Now, how does this all tie in with the entire belief system, law of attraction, and everything that we spoke about? Let's put it all together. And then we'll look at more charts on gold and everything. So you see, traders, and I'll share some stories with you as well. Now, let's take a look on Dollar Yen at the moment. Now, Dollar Yen, right? It really tests you over here. So let me just run through for you what's going on with Dollar Yen, which is the position that is going on here, which is about $565 of profit, and then Euro Yen about just a little bit under 1,000, which is here. So let's look at both of these charts at the moment over here on the Euro Yen and the Dollar Yen, which is what I'm looking at. So let me start with Dollar Yen first. So what happened is, if you look, the blue line, right, is where we got into the trade, right? And then where our stop loss is at the moment. Now, let me just show you where the stop loss, initial stop loss, right? The initial stop loss was around here, right? Entry was here. And then our target, which we place much later on, is here, 151.16. Now, to give you all a better representation, I'll just do on the replay mode, and you get a better idea of what actually happened and really follow the process through. I'm just going to hide the stats chart for a moment, and then I'll put all the entire belief system and everything all together. Okay, that's makes it a bit more cleaner over here at the moment. So over here, as you can see, this is where we entered, where the smart money indicator kicked in to confirm that bottom over here, and where actually the VSA indicator started to say there was a potential buying after that big seller bar, after our top got confirmed in this uptrend momentum. So we came in looking to see that that turning point over there will sustain itself and carry on further with correlation of higher time frames. I'm not going to go through much of the many rules. That is covered in the video series, as well as the in the mentorship course that we're going to be doing about next month as well. Now, in terms of this, but look, I want you to observe what happened, right? As we entered that with the initial stop loss there, as we did that, immediately the next day itself, it went against us, right? So we are already in loss. Now, at this moment, the immediate thing happens, isn't it? Oh man, did I enter the... If your belief system is not strong in the edge of your system on why it must continue to work in the long run, you will start to panic here. Some people might say, you know what, I can't take it any longer. Let me just exit it. Right? Now, however, we have the whole lot of plan written out, okay, based on a true edge on why it must continue to work. Another thing that we always keep reminding ourselves in our belief system is that even if this trade loses, it is just one trade in the string of trades we're going to take. The one trade cannot make your entire trading results. Am I right to say that, traders? You can type into the chat box. One trade can't make your entire full trading results, right? It's the 20, 30, hundreds of trades that you place in. Overall, you must become net profitable. So likewise, so on that, we don't panic based on how we have designed our system. And I'll go through the entire psychology system behind it on how we actually look at this, and a story that I'll share with you as well before we had put all of this together and everything aligned together. The next day itself, you see, it goes a little bit further down and then starts to reverse. Now for those traders who got in, they'll be thinking, oh man, who got out panicking on this red bar. After you saw the green bar, you'll be thinking, should I have stayed in a bit longer? Is it going to go up further? You see, the next spot's what's going to happen. Nobody knows. So the first thing I would always say, traders, is stop thinking about the future. Nobody knows. You can't project. All you know is why your system must continue to work in the law of numbers. Over here at Master the Markets, right? And the same as in Trade Guider, we know, firstly, three things we always will know. One is how much move is left on a probability basis, which we call open equity, which was the stats table at the bottom that you saw. Second thing we always know is how it will move to get there. How will it move to get there? Which, in another word, in a playful way, we call it, and one of our US clients, Stuart Davis, he calls it the dance, right? The volatility. You see, this may be the dance that is doing. You have to give it room to move towards your target. Now, this is what people need to know. And people do not know that, and that's what scares the hell out of them. We were taught this by the quant traders, and the work started in the 1960s, the same time as Richard Wyckoff and Tom Williams and all of that. That's why our methodology is so similar and complementary. This is why we get invited to so many places, like the Society of Technical Analysis, where Gavin and I were. We get invited to just Ninja Trader recently. 13,000 views I just saw in less than 1 month, the presentations that we have given, right? And then recently we just went to IG Index. This is why this thing, there is a reason for this, traders. Nobody talks in this systematic methodological way. So definitely follow this and use this to whichever strategy you may be using. The third thing you must always know for your intellect to be strong in believing your strategy in your system is the time it takes to your target. Now, once you know these three things, traders, right? How much move is left? How does it move to get there? The dance, the volatility, and the time to get there, you will get rid of that panic system, of that fear system that will tempt you to get out of the trade, that will get your emotions to be disturbed, right? So this is what made us stuck through this. And then if I carry on more further, and you see the next bar itself, it takes out its last potential high, right? In our entire framework and methodology, there's only two things that's always happening. A potential high either becomes a confirmed high with an orange arrow and a dot, or it gets taken out and its current bottom to top direction keeps continuing on further. Pretty much that's it. Because this is in nature of the entire market, isn't it not? Either the market moves in cycles and makes a top and a bottom, or that entire swing move carries on up and up and up, and your open equity is large. But of course, remember, nothing can go in a straight line forever. You can catch large moves in that swing, but it's got to turn at some point. So that's what this entire framework is then done on. And when you apply the volume on top of it, it becomes powerful. Because if you take a look, when Smart Money Indicator gave that signal, which we then correlate with our strategy rules, the volume indicator gave a green as well. Increases our belief system in that this trade, regardless of its dance, of its first against move that it did against you. So if I want to put that in numbers, you see, roughly, that's about 106 pips against you. $10 a point, that is what? You're down about minus $1,000, right? Especially some beginner intermediate traders, when they see this, then I get messages and everything saying, Tiro, what's going on? Why did you take that trade? You know, it's going against us. Are you sure it will come back again in my favor? You see, that's not how a professional thinks. A professional knows, firstly, my entire trading results can't just be made on one trade. So he calms the mind down based on just that. The second thing the professional knows is that I got to run my law of numbers. I know that this might be a dance and that potential top might be taken out. Even if it doesn't, and it does relate in a loss, but my risk management is in place. And my next trade may override the loss, or my next 20 trades overall can override the loss. When all of this is set in place and in motion, your entire belief system becomes very strong in your strategy, and you're able to consistently execute your system.
Terry,
This is Yeah.
Terry, quick question. There's put the volume on. You see the PB at the bottom there? That's where we went long on the PB on the
Nice.
US.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people.
Right, now
that
you put the volume on there. Now look at. I just want to explain that. And if you've got a daily chart, but you put a 4-hour chart on, you'll see exactly when to get in. Exactly. Okay.
4
So
hour. Let me just put the 4 hour now.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's
Yeah, no problems. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the PB.
There we go. Yeah.
Right now. Look.
Fact,
I mean, I talk
let,
about You've got.
let me just cut out everything and be more clear.
That's pretty much it. It's a reversal. So basically,
There you go.
this is what you've got to understand, right? So you've got a widespread down bar, but the next bar responds positively. It does not go down. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly it. Right? And
the volume.
as it tries to fall, the volume diminishes. That is a setup. Now, if you want to make money in the markets, you have to recognize that when it happens. We've got scanners that do it, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, do we all accept? And I tell you what, we've not lost anyone in this webinar at all, because they're all looking at this going, we're talking about belief systems, but now there's something that's important. Do we know that ultra high volume is important? Well, if you don't, wake up. WAKE space UP. I've got a book in front of me by Richard Ney, Ney. Go and type in his details. You'll see it. Okay, Richard Ney, Ney. So it's Richard space Ney. Right? Go and look at the information. Now, what we know here is we can observe. It's a low, so it's broken the previous lows. We all agree that. No one can argue with that. Low. It's got new low. It's got a big indicator on it, and in NinjaTrader, which I'm using at the moment, it's got a big signal on it. It's called a climactic bar, but it's called a shakeout. That's words that you can find in the book. It closed off the low. It didn't close on the low, and the next bar closed higher. Yeah, you've got it. Yeah, look, how can that be selling? It's definitely some sellers in there, in that level, but now you've got a trade setup. We're giving you this. It's like a gift.
And
right?
you know, the biggest plus point in this, Gavin, is when they marry it up with different time frames also. So they saw this on the 4 hour. And on the daily, this is what we keep repeating in all the webinars that we do together with Gavin and I, is that, you see, another thing what they can also observe, and this is how they do, because we always get a lot of questions on the time frame correlation, isn't it not, Gavin?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, then you see, on the daily, if they see that, it's taken out that high, it's turned into an uptrend. It's confirmed that phase 2. Now what you're doing is you're thinking, okay, it's got to carry on back in its uptrend again. Where is that bottom coming?
That's
right?
it.
Towards the phase 1. And that's what Gavin is saying now, is that go on to the 4 hour here, and bang, you can see that there's a high probability turning point here. It took out the last 2 lows, right? Came back with a big seller bar where people would think it's going to go further down. But then it's closed above its lows a little bit. But the real clue comes from the volume as well as the next bar that closes higher. Let me just pull this up a little bit more. And there you go. So you see the clue comes in this volume.
That's it.
High spike, and the next bar closing higher than the previous close.
And the best.
So that gives you a higher chance and probability that this bottom is going to hold and going to go on to confirm it according to our smart money framework, and go on to confirm it on the daily as well. So the 4 hour bottom is going to confirm, daily bottom is going to confirm, turn that into a phase 1, and presto, then you got more open equity to ride.
Absolutely
over to you. Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
So just, let's go for a trade that we're in right now. So do GBP, and it was the JPY, right? So that's a good one.
GBP JPY. Let me do
that. Yeah. You can put that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. GBP JPY. Yeah. It's all on YouTube, so people can see it. But what you've just said is correct. So we're doing this in foresight, not in hindsight. Wait. Don't go rushing in and buy. No. Wait.
Yeah, let me do that. GBP, JPY. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. So put up the daily. Yeah, that's the daily. Now look at how far that's gone up. And 2 weeks ago, we were saying is that there's buy indicators, there's testing in a rising market. Well, there they are.
You got that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. Had to be. And it's made new highs. And you can keep playing it through and through and through, but it had to go up. Had to. And then you've got to look at, okay, in the background there was buying. Okay, if you put a weekly chart up, you'll see the buyers. They're all stepped in. They're very clever. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Look at the price action over the last 4 to 6 weeks. It's just going up. It's going to go up again. It's going to break out. Yeah. Now the other thing before we finish, because I know we've got to take questions.
Mhm.
Go and have a look at 2 stocks, and I would probably put up Nvidia and Walmart again. And I know we've talked about these, but
NVIDIA, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
okay. Now look at what's going on. All right, that's a 4-hour chart. Now put up a daily, and you'll see where the buyers were. They're very obvious. Look at the PB buy. Look at the buying. It's so obvious. And we're talking about trade to win. I'm using Smart Center Pro, but yeah, you've got it. Look at that. They knew before the announcement, right? And it closes in the middle. The next bar does close lower, which I thought was a bit strange. But I looked at the monthly chart, and it just showed this thing's going up, right? You've got to look at the bigger picture. You put up now a 4-hour chart, you'll see what I see, and it's very, very obvious. Yeah, that's it. Yep, you got it. And your SMI indicator proves it. That had to go up. And if you go back a bit, you'll see the background is quite important. But most importantly, look at the trend. It's like that is a price that's going up and up and up. Now, is it going to go down now? Needs testing. But that's a great example, in my opinion, of a stock. And if you put up now Walmart, okay, WMT,
Yeah,
right?
Walmart, yeah, you go, yeah.
Yeah. These are all things that we're proving. I forget the law of attraction for a second. This is good. Walmart is important. Yeah. Now look. Okay, that's a 4-hour chart, but
Yeah,
you
you
got
got a daily, yeah.
you can put daily up. Yeah, it's
Yeah, there you go.
Now that is a stock that has rallied and led the index, and now you've got potential hidden selling. So would you buy there? One of my customers that's a fund manager has come to me and said, well, I think Walmart's a great buy. I said, well, are you buying a top? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, did you buy it at the low price? Well, no, because it was terrible. It was this. It was. I said, well, are you now buying a top? And he looked at the chart. He went, yeah, but. I said, don't but. Are you buying a top? If you buy a top, as well, any trader will tell you, you're buying at prices which are not attractive to smart money, and so you're buying a top. And he looked at it and went, that is quite high, isn't it? I said, look, it's a gap up, but everything's good. Everything's positive. Everything's really good. How do you feel? He said, well, I really want to buy it. I said, exactly. You're part of the herd. You're part of the group. You're doing exactly what people will do. They don't know this knowledge.
Correct.
You don't know it. You're buying into a place where you're trapped.
And when you actually combine the methodologies, it's quite clear on the chart, isn't it, Gavin? Because you see, the bottom got confirmed here, right? Around this price here at about 54 to 55. And if somebody is thinking of buying here, you can see that even on a diagrammatic wait, the bottom got confirmed here, and they're thinking of buying here. And we know the simple principle that nothing can move in a straight line forever. And therefore, it will make a top at some point. So even on a visual perspective, why would someone consider to buy something when it's so far away from its bottom and nothing can move in a straight line forever?
Because they don't have the knowledge.
This is the point. It's because of the knowledge gap.
That's it. They don't understand. And it's not, I'll say this 100%. Ultimately, it's very important that we teach what we teach, because we're looking at this now. There is no reason to sell at all. So if you said to me, I'm holding this stock, it's Walmart, which we bought much lower, I'm going to sell. Why would you sell? You've got no evidence at all. None. All you've got is an uptrend and a gap with ultra high volume. We put the VSA on it, it'll show you. But the bottom line is, why would you sell it? You cannot sell it. Now, if you're looking at this and you're long on Walmart, and we've got to keep it to a tight timeline, but the gap is there, the signal's there, the indicator's there. I've got alerts coming in all over the bloody place. It's amazing. The point is, that is a sign of weakness. Now, do you take that and say, I accept it? That's the key. And do you take it and say, I tell you what, I'm going to start shorting? You don't. I'll tell you what you do. Go to the 1 hour chart, please, and watch. It's what I'm doing. It's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you can put the volume on, but we've got all the indicators telling us that the pressure is downward. Okay, you've got SMI. I've got it on my other screen here, but it's all there.
Let me put the volume.
Yeah, you put the VSA indicator on. You'll see it. You'll see what I'm seeing.
There we go.
Yep. And you put it on, and there it is. Okay, look at the volume. Now look at the price action. It's actually projected it out, and it's starting to push lower. If you want an actual trade setup for the short side, we're giving it to you. Okay, that's going down. Now, let me be clear. I make this statement because you have to. 3:20 in the UK. Now, the point is that correct? Am I correct? You would probably look at it and go, oh, well, that's just a guess. It's not. That is supply. 100%. Now, the next target is going to be 57. And you can put that up there and we can trade it. 57. And of course, if it goes up, you'll say, oh, he was wrong. It doesn't matter. I would have a stop. That is supply. Mm-hmm. There's no argument. I mean, I don't care what anyone tells me, because I'm so sure and so positive that is supply present on the 1 hour chart, that it will move down lower and 57. And if it's hit, people go, oh, well, how did you know that? I didn't know anything. I just watched the price. Look at the two bars that you're looking at, right? On Walmart, right? Number one, you've got massive volume closing on the low, but the next bar down. And then it's gone sideways. What a great setup we're giving you. Watch it. And once you've got it, I mean, Terry, what's your thoughts? I mean, you've got your signal right on the top as well.
Yeah, a couple of points I'll mention here. One is definitely the volume here. The volume spike is quite obvious here, very high among all the other volume spikes above the average volume line over here. But of course, like what Gavin and I always say is that just based on this, you can't take a trade. You got to marry up with the other parts of the story. The next bar then closes further down. But more than that, what we usually will do, and I'm sure the Trade Guider team does also, is I also take a look at the higher time frames and see if a top is due. And over here, as I can see over here, of course, you wouldn't have been able to see that when that happened, right? Of that big seller bar happening, but I did see a big gap. And at that point here, when it went to that particular high, let me actually use replay mode. I think it's a bit more easier to see.
Yeah.
So when that actually happened there, so we usually will take it from the close, we take it over there, we see it's a $3 move, right? So when I see that it's a $3 move that has gone to, so in a visual format, what we usually are doing is, this is what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're saying that that's where the bottom got confirmed. This is where it's the highest point has gone to. They are saying it's a potential selling point over here as well. Big volume spike. But now the question is, okay, to which way? I marry up the $3 to our statistical point of how much move is left, which will usually come down to maybe less than maybe 20% of them will go more further than $3. So then the clue and what I will then marry up this entire thing is the open equity move left to the upside is very low probability. There's a volume spike happening over here as well, which is towards the downside, but which still I need a bit more confirmation from the next bar onwards, which then I'll wait for one more 4-hour bar to form, right? Which is then I got here. And if I need a bit more confirmation, I wait for my smart money indicator to confirm that top on the 4-hour. And probably this is where then I would have got into the move on an entry point, which I'll put into a blue in terms of our rules. And in terms of the stop loss would be over there. But remember, this entire thought process is based on a very systematic way, in the way that what we are saying is this 4-hour top that I'm seeing has got a high probability of becoming a daily top, and that's how we would write the move. One last point I would like to add on over here, Gavin, is that I think which you nicely mentioned as well, that everybody thinks, yeah, you're saying short, but then let's say after a few hours, then it shoots up against you. But remember one thing, right? Everybody is right in their direction according to the time period that they're holding it for. That is why Peter Brand said, strong opinions weakly held. Strong opinions weakly held. I can say this is going down, but I can just hold it only for the next 3-4 hour bars. And when I see a sharp reversal, I can trail my stop loss and get out. So my opinion on that direction is based on the time period for that strategy. So you must know for how long you're going to hold that for, and at which kind of price action pattern are you going to come out of it. So that's when you can be either right in your direction or wrong. Now, other people might say, no, this is going to go more further up to the upside. But okay, what is your time horizon? Is it for the next 4 weeks you're holding it for? For the next month you're holding it for? Is it different higher time frames you're looking at? Then all that needs to come into play. So a person who's trading on a 4-hour, 1-hour chart might just hold it for the next 8-10 hours and get the direction right on the short. But whereas a guy whose strategy is based on a weekly or monthly chart might hold it even when it comes down, waiting for another reversal to carry on with the higher time frame kind of price action. So then he might be right in his direction. That's why I'm saying is for how long you're going to hold it for and which time frames you're trading it on. Isn't it right, Gavin?
Correct. That's you can put it perfectly. It's absolutely spot on, because we don't know. We don't know the time frames. The market moves. Now, what I want to do, because I obviously am conscious of time, is let you know what we're doing, because there's a lot of things going on with Trade Guider and trading the markets. So the first thing, and you can probably put this up, is the London investor show. It's the trading show. So we're going to be there, right? And we want to meet you. So
yeah, I think Glenn had put the details. Glenn, can you repost that again?
Yeah,
see if I can find it on the internet as well.
Yeah.
As I'm doing that, Glenn, if you can post it on the chat box.
Yeah.
on
But
the details for the London Traders Show. Let me just see if I can find it. London Traders Show.
Yesterday I posted it.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you. I think this is the one here, traders, isn't it? This is the one, isn't it? 8th of March. Yeah,
that's
there
it.
we go.
Yeah.
8th of
So,
March.
so Tura and I are going to be there. We're going to be on the Active Trade stand. We're going to be trading live. Looking forward to it. We've got a lot of people coming, so we're looking forward to it. It's in Hammersmith. Yeah. So you can find all about that at the show. There it is. Come and meet us. I mean, that's the best way to make this work for you. In relation to the final thoughts, I want to just go back if I can, take the screen if I can, Tira.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, after you, then I'll just add the 2-3 points, then we can sum it up all up.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is just
Yeah,
go.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, I'm going to give you all a copy of this, but I think actually, based on the emails I've just received, and there's a lot of them, and I'm very happy about that. But we need to. Yeah, I've got all your questions, so I'll go through them in stages.
I think some people are asking for the link for the book, Gavin. If you can post it on Skype when you can, then we can post it on here.
Okay, so what I'll do.
Oh, you know what? Does the other one work? Yeah, if you can post it on Skype, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll put it on Skype. So because and then you can post that. That's fine. So it's the whole book, but read chapter 9. I wouldn't bother with anything else. I mean, just read chapter 9. And then what we'll do, I'll just put Skype on. Just bear with me because
I think I will show the other things in the time being. Why don't you?
Yeah. You take the screen. I'm going to put the script. I'm going to post this.
I think as Gavin is doing that, and then once we get it on Skype, then I can
Look at the trade on the Nasdaq right now. Okay.
On the Nasdaq. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nasdaq NQ. Right, it's the NQ.
There we go. Yeah.
It's right now. Yeah, I've got it. Really good trade.
Have you put it on Skype already? The link?
Yeah, I'll put it on there now. Bear with me. I can see where
I
it
think
is.
as Gavin is bringing that up, let me just quickly summarize the points what I was saying just now, traders, on this 2 trades that is running at the moment, just a little bit gone up a little bit more. But you see, that's not the point because there's unrealized profits at the moment. Just to tie everything up together, as you saw on dollar yen, what we were talking about is that immediately over here on the daily chart, let me just go on the daily chart here, is what we were talking about just now, weren't we? Is that the trade went against you immediately, which is what we saw over here, right? But we held on to it with our belief and our conviction in the dance, in the volatility. Then after that, then it took out that potential top, carried on further up, consolidated a little bit more, another big swing up. And then over here, then it started to consolidate more, right? So at this moment, again, your mind will start to think, isn't it not? That you're up so much. And I always get messages on this as well, that, you're up 205 points, $10 a point. So that would be what? $2,050. And then suddenly, it's coming against you, right? Which is what you're seeing over here, which is this 2 red bars over here coming against you. Typical scenario, just like this again. Just that in this time, you are on the positive side of the territory at the moment. But even then, your mind will start to tell you, which is, now you're at 121 points. So let me just see how much that one is up to now. 120. So the 2050 comes down to 120 pips at $10 a point, $1,200, right? So it's almost coming half. And you're thinking, oh man, I had 2,000. Now it's coming down to half. Should I take and run? Or should I hold? Or this will repeat back again? Would it come back to here? The main thing here, traders, your belief system should come to the point that no one knows the future. No one knows what the next part is going to do. Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? What you need to understand and think is in terms of probabilities, and in terms of your research-backed rules on where your stop loss should be and where your target should be and how the law of numbers comes together to finally make your strategy net profitable. That is how you need to be thinking of. You need to let go of just thinking of the outcome just of that particular one trade. Okay. So as of now, just to give you a perspective on this, so we stick our trading stop loss according to our rules because we've seen in the past that that is where you need to place it for the dance to occur again. And for the volatility, there's no other choice in this. And then as we were holding on to that, then the next bar goes up and then it plays around over here and then goes up a little bit, goes up more. And then there we are. And then today, this is where we are at, right? So it went against us quite a bit, but then it's pulling up and our target is so near. And in your mind, I know it even sometimes happens to me that you're thinking, it is so near, maybe I should trail it a bit more tighter. I don't want to give it all away by placing my trailing stop loss here. But all I would say on what we have learned today on law of attraction and everything is that stick to your plan, and the plan should be based on a very strong intellectual backing. The final points, what I would say is, your personalities is made up of 4, right? But the 2 main personalities you're really looking at is your intellectual personality on what is the true edge of your strategy, which you need to keep asking yourself. The next thing is your emotional personality, where your emotions start to fly around. You can do different techniques to stabilize your emotions, right? So that you're always ever calm and trading in the zone, so that your intellectual personality is in favor of that edge that you're trading for and you can execute consistently. That's what I would say. Reflect on that. And another thing that has really helped me in my own trading and all of that is that always remember this statement, right? Which is what we spoke about in belief system, which is everything around you that is happening in your life is a reflection of your entire belief system. It's a reflection of your entire belief system. In my own story, for a very long time, for a good 2-3 years, I was looking to get earlier. I was looking to beat the dot. I was looking to get earlier than the dot, right? Because I was thinking, okay, the earlier I can get more money, I can get more money. I was keep on doing that, but it wasn't getting consistent, right? The whole performance and everything, I was getting consistent. I was banging against the wall. I thought I got it, but then you would earn the profits, lose it back. And my mentor used to tell me quite a few times, he said, Thiru, why are you looking to enter early? Why can't you keep your focus on wherever that you enter, is it reliable and is there move left? But traders, as based on this point, everything is a reflection of your belief. There was something within me that was blocking me from listening to anything that was outside and hindering my entire progress. So after a while, a turn of events, then I was forced to, again, by life, to take a step back and then reflect. I took a good 3 to 6 months back and I reflected. Suddenly your mind calms down. It gets patient. Then everything that you heard before comes into play. And then it all started to sink in. What am I running for? Why am I chasing? Why am I looking to get before the dot? What if my results could just improve by just entering on the dot? And then everything started to reveal itself to me. And then we got more convinced in the system. We put all the 3 stats together. And guess what? Once you remove those limiting beliefs, what Gavin was talking about, that blocks you, naturally then what happens? Everything becomes crystal clear. It was right in front of you. You couldn't see it before because of those limiting beliefs. Now suddenly everything appears to you. It's all crystal clear. And guess what? One thing leads to another. And then we get invited to all by these big organizations to come and speak everywhere. And we can talk with conviction now because we can see clearly the limiting beliefs that were blocking us has been removed. So that is the process I want you guys to also reflect on. But reflect on this statement that everything around you is a reflection of your belief system. Go deeper into that. What is your belief system today? Why are you not getting the results? What do you need to change? What do you need to remove? What do you need to substitute? A big thing that I learned when I took my step back was stop being impatient, become patient. When I became patient and calm, my intellect was shining more brightly. I could see in front of me. I could see the opportunities. In fact, then I found the most systematic methodological way, which I've taught you all as well, in our one-to-one sessions with the MTM clients and the Trade Guider clients on how to beat the dot using time frame correlation, but in a more systematic methodological dot. You beat the dot with the dot. But I couldn't see all of that without reflecting on this statement. Everything is a reflection of our belief system. If something is not giving you the results, it's something within you that is blocking it. Go inside, reflect on it, remove it, and substitute it with things that will serve you, and you'll be able to move forward. Another thing that one person said, and I'll with this we will sum up. I'll pass over to Gavin for the last words, summing words, is that one person said that, you know, the universe is always ready to reward you. Okay, the universe is always ready to give you what you want. But it's a matter of whether are you ready to accept it. And your belief system might be blocking you from receiving the gifts that the universe want to give you. So that is why you need to keep reflecting on this and then hang around the right people which can change the belief system to move you forward to where you want to get to. I think that's all I wanted to say on that, Gavin. And that's how we are actually having the conviction to show all these results as well in transparency. And also you have seen this as well before on the 50% OE track record that we showed on a real account based on price and volume. Again, trading privileges all verified here, as you can see as well, all real account, track record, trading privileges. You can see all this entire account. Even when I showed this to a few clients, they said, this is definitely a real account, because not everybody can, really go through that amount of drawdown and then still come out of it. This is a true real account, right? I can show you all the trades that we've taken. And then from here, then we reflect, and I presented this in the last London Investor Show as well, where then the equity curve the last valley doesn't take out the previous valley. That's what you're looking for. And that's the reason why we're able to show with such much conviction. You can see every trade that we have taken over here on history, no hiding. But the reason why we can do this is what, as me and Gavin are saying, is because of our belief system in the strategies that we are trading and the true edge of the strategies that we are trading as well. I think that's pretty much that on my side. Gavin, anything else you want to add on?
Yeah, no, I see a lot of our existing customers coming in, and welcome to you all. So you've seen what we're showing you today. We talked about charts. We've talked about the law of attraction. We've talked about belief systems. What I've learned, having met many of you, is ultimately, and this is very important to me, everyone's different. So I can't tick, because my wife Laura is listening in on this, and she said, well, what about so and so, and what about this person, what about that person? I'm like, well, one's in America, one's in Canada, one's in China, one's in... Here's my message to all of you. Tua and I work together because we believe that we've got a system which I think we've proven. Is it proven for everyone? No. Does everyone take the system and make money? No. Sorry. I can't show that. Is the system provable? Yes. Tiru's showing that right now, but that's neither here nor there. What happens is individuals want to know that they've got the Holy Grail, that they've got it. So if you take the system, it's just going to make money. That's not true. And I can't wake up in the morning and tell you that, because it's not going to happen. Is the system provable, and will it make you money if you put the effort in? Yes. And some of you in this room have done that. And some of you are very successful. But it would be wrong for Tiru and I to say, well, just buy this product and it's just going to make you money. It's not. You've got to put the effort in. I'm sorry. There's no other way to put it. It's very difficult for me to say that, because what I want to do is give you a really easy option to go, oh, I tell you what, buy our products and you'll just make money. It doesn't work. And I know it doesn't work because I've seen people who fail, but I've seen a lot of people that are very, very successful who've made a lot of money. So what Tiru and I are doing is, well, we're going to the trader show. We're going to trade live. We do what we do. But what I ask of you is this. I said in the presentation, your mind's like a parachute. It is. You can open your mind and be successful. You can close your mind and still be successful, by the way. I've seen that. But the most important thing is your mind is like a parachute. I've said this 100 times, probably more. If you open it, you get knowledge. And that is very important. And it doesn't mean that you're going to make money. I'll just be clear. It means that you're opening your mind. You're going, okay, well, it's knowledge. That's it. And when you get the knowledge, you get the power. When you get the power, which is what Donald Trump and, many other big players in politics do, they get power. If you've got knowledge, you've got power. Really important. But once you've got the knowledge, then what are you going to do with it? Now, if you are so focused on money in the financial markets, then you'll just be focused on the money. I just need to make money. I just need to make money. I just need to make money. But actually, as Tiru has just said, it's not about the money. That's the biggest point. You'll get money if you attract it. You'll make no money if you don't attract it. That's the universal law. I mean, if you're not meant to make it, you won't get it. But if you are, and what Tiru's done, and I've seen this 100% of the time of people I've taught, when they change their belief, they change the way they make the money, and the money is not important. So I'll finish on this note, which is very important. We have got several places you can get information from. It's up to you. Tiru has got a course. We've got a course. We're going to the London Traders exhibition, and it's going to, just so you know, some of you just emailed me about where is it. It's in Hammersmith. Okay, so it's in Hammersmith, and it's at the Novotel. Tiru, can you confirm it's Novotel West? I think.
Yeah, it is a Novotel West. It's near Hammersmith, actually.
Yeah, it's right by the tube station. So yeah, so a couple of you emailed, so we want to come meet you, but we'll come and meet us. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, Novotel.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to finish off. Just keep it clear. We've given you a lot of information in this webinar. Go and look at it. And Tiru, I'll let you wrap it up. What's your final thoughts?
I mean, I guess we've said enough. I think do reflect on the whole entire belief system, the law of attraction, and all of that, what we spoke about today, and how it has helped us in our own journey, and use that in your own trading journey as well. And I know some of you are already messaging, asking about both the indicator systems and all that, how you can get hold of them, how you can use them as well. We'll send some email details on it as well. And I think there are some 24, I think it's time limit, I think offers. I think we will send that all on email. But other than that, to summarize, I always usually say the three things that I want you all to reflect on is that reflect on your entire belief system. Reflect on the statement that everything around you is a reflection of your belief system. What beliefs do you need to change within you to get to where you want to get to? The second thing is reflect on the true age of your system. Why must your strategy continue to work? I saw some people putting into the chat box that on this dollar-yen trade, euro-yen trade, they will take out half of the profits off the table. But then ask yourself, if you know that 80% of the trades that you're taking half of the profits from continue to go in the previous direction that you were in, would you really take out half of the profits? How would you answer that? So all that you have to know before you start to do whatever that you want to do. Don't just base it just all on one trade. So the second thing I would say is reflect on the age of your system. Why must it continue to work? The third thing is don't think one trade, okay? Think probabilities. Think probabilities. And always remember, how much move is left before you get into a trade, and combine volume in it to get the best entries and to get the best open equities left in a particular trade. Those are the things I would leave you guys with. That's pretty much that from my side. Gavin, any last things you want to add?
No, just thank you to all for. I mean, we've got a load of people still that we've not lost anyone. So thank you to all. Hope we've helped. Yes, we're talking about some spiritual stuff, which maybe traders don't really do many times, but we do because we want to help you. I've said what Richard Ney said: wake up. Okay, we're here to help you, and then listen. And then go and look at the stuff that we did on the PowerPoint, and ultimately just be safe. You know, as I say, I'm struggling because I lost a friend on Friday, and it's still it's raw with me. But I realise that life is precious, so please enjoy what you've got with your family, and most importantly, when you're looking at trading, trade with money that you can afford to lose, and learn from people that you trust. With that said, I'd say namaste. May your God bless you. I'm leaving, and I'm sure you'll be connecting with us through YouTube. I've got a couple of emails. I'll follow up with those. But thank you so much to all of you for your support. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, traders. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Bye for now.